Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I would like to start by saying a big welcome to those who are here for the first time. Thanks for stopping by. So this is how we do it here. Just click on the red button below to get subscribed, and then if you want to get notifications once I upload new videos, smash on the bell icon. Then you are good to go. And for those of you who have already subscribed, I want to say a big thank you, and especially those who take their time to share these videos. I'm not taking your love and your support for granted. Thank you so much, and God bless. And for those who are still sitting on the fence, still thinking, come on, you know what to do. Just press the red button and then you're good to go. So guys, it's a really pretty serious issue out there. So I know some of us have heard about it because it's no longer news. But the reason why I just decided to stay clear from it and not to get involved is because for me, it doesn't make sense. It's just too nonsensical. It's just like somebody out there playing on your intelligence. And you're like, what did this person take me for? And you don't even want to, lash out or respond. You just ignore. But things keep coming from the guy, spokesperson for the Northern Coalition Group. I mean the person of Mr. Aziz Suleiman. From him threatening to, constitute nuisance in the country if this Ruga settlement of a thing is not implemented within 30 days, to the new passport. I'm like, excuse me, I really can't keep my calm anymore. I'm like, you know what, it's high time. I share my own views. I may be a little bit controversial in this video, but that is just me. So the man Malam, like people call him, is not me, but I know him as President Muhammadu Buhari. But recently I see people start calling him Malam, and I don't know why. So I'm just going to go by that. Malam Muhammad Buhari, aka Jubri. Some people say he's not Buhari, he's dead. He gotta be Jubri, he gotta be somebody different, that they don't believe somebody who is a Nigerian, who is patriotic to the country, who has the country's interests at heart, will implement such rules. But so they call him, he must be somebody, Mr. Jubri from Sudan, this thing. Me, I don't know. I'm just quoting what people say out there. But I know he's President Muhammadu Buhari. Just for the sake for everybody to understand who I'm talking about, that's why I'm using the word Malam Buhari. So he's the president of Nigeria. And for those of us who, are non-Nigerians, Nigeria is a country in West Africa. It's divided into different territories and regions, and it constitutes so many ethnic groups. Some of the regions are like in the north, in the south, in the west, in the east, all coexisting together to be one nation, Nigeria. So, guys, it's all about Ruga settlement. To say this is pretty serious is an understatement, because I don't even understand what's going on anymore. So the word Ruga in itself is a Fulani term, means cattle settlement. So the new implementation by the federal government, headed by Buhari, is that every state, in Nigeria there are 36 states, okay? So in those 32 states, I belong to 2 of them. How lucky I am, right? So there are 32 states. So the implementation requires that every state, each one of the states must provide a vast land, big, huge land for cattle settlement, whether they like it or not. To the best of my knowledge, there was no consultation. Our great President Buhari just woke up one morning and said, this is it. For me, I don't really believe that was the case though. Who's going to do that? Who will do that? So according to what I heard, the BB grammar and Yubo people were speaking, because this incident, this implementation thing has aroused so many academians. Just speaking English, they are just talking English, no action, nothing. So they are saying that Buhari just woke up one morning and said, this is it, and that's it. Me, I don't believe, like I said. So each of the states have to provide a vast land for these cattle areas, and and he has even allocated so much billions for the implementation of this program. So that is, even before the state governors will even know what is happening, money has already been allocated. Is it just that easy? Like nobody ever knew about it. There was no like backdoor, like closed door meetings regarding this. Me, I don't believe it. That's what people are, saying now, that he just came up with this idea. So there has been an outcry, you know, everybody complaining, people, it got everybody talking. The internet is almost blowing out because of all this, everybody airing their views. Again, I still sit down my own jajaja, I said nothing concern me. But you know, guys, what? Where I decided to say, me, I'm not feel quiet anymore. This is my country, Nigeria. I don't have any other country. I have no place to run to. You know, was when I heard the spokesperson for Nota Coalition Group, and that is the person of Mr. Aziz Suleiman. You know, Google him. You will see him, spokesperson for Nota Coalition Group. That's NCG. So he said he's giving the federal government 30 days. Buhari is 30 days. If not, heads will roll. Really? By force. By fire, by force. That no state should refuse this. They should embrace it. I heard that. I read it. Somebody even forwarded it to me. One big auntie in the community even forwarded it to me. I said, auntie, so this thing is real. It's not fake. She said, yes, so it's not fake. I said, okay. And then the following day again, another one, Bossa. Passport matter, henchman at the backstage of the passport. I said, hey, excuse me, what is happening? This is a serious matter. So I decided to come here to air my views as usual. People think I'm very controversial because I'm going to be analyzing this from a very different perspective. You know? But please, it's not my fault. It's how I'm still Nigerian. I'm still entitled to my views. Abi? So, anyways, that is it, all my people. So what I'm going to say here today is nothing new from what everyone has already heard, but I'm just going to be wearing a different lens. I'm just going to sit back, you know, and come, you know, trace everything, whatever is happening now, back to the time of independence. Okay? So guys, let's listen. So we are complaining about the North, how they have dominated the country, how they want to have it all, how they are doing this, how the country is about them. But how did we get this far? Let's ask ourselves, how did we get this far? Is it that we don't have leaders in the country? We have people there, you know? But one thing that I got to understand is we treated our birthright. We had the opportunity, but we didn't use it. We were focusing on things that are not sustainable. Money, wealth, stomach infrastructure. Can those things help us now? Whether you like it or not. All the grammar that people have been speaking in. Now just a waste. You know, they speak grammar. They speak grammar. Gone are the days that they say pen is mightier than sword. My people, the word in Nigeria today, sword is mightier than pen. Ask me why. The Hausas, the Fulanis, they have monopoly over the instrument of violence. AK-47, blasting because of them, they make them. Russians, thank you very much. So, they have all the instruments of violence. If war is to happen in Nigeria today, those people, they have sophisticated weapons. In short, they've anticipated, they have foresight. Education is not intelligence, so it's not about going to school, go and read law. You read law degree because many of my Yoruba people, Emma Bino, now waiting I see now they talk. Many of them, they go and read law degree, they go and read Harvard University, Kiniko, Stanford, name it, University of Oxford, PhD upon PhD upon PhD in law, and they are breaking on the big grammar. Now, how is that going to help us? You are just speaking. The people, they are just laughing at you. Yeah? Ordinary person at 18 years old, don't go Nigeria Defense Academy. It's ruling you. They are ruling the country. And they have their own target. When you are busy grabbing your degrees, they are busy trying to consolidate. And they are consolidated. There's nothing we can do. Ruga settlement, you argue from now till tomorrow, it will start. You are just talking anyways. You have not even finished crying now. The passport matter. This is how we talk about passport. Another 2 weeks again, the matter will subside. The northern people, they know the southerners. We just talk. We are just talking. They know what we want. They will give us more money now. You are quiet. Go back to the time of independence. Let's be a little bit historical here. Okay? Remember when the British were leaving, after the British rule, when they were about to leave, they handed power to who? Who did they hand power to? They handed power to the north. The person of Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. That is because they deemed that, they saw that the Hausas and the Fulanis combined together constitute more than the majority of the, like more than half of the country. So they gave them that power. Tafawa Balewa was the prime minister, the ceremonial head, while the British were preparing their, you know, their pots, their spoons, their cutleries, their clothes, their wardrobe, everything to return. They handed power over him. So they have studied the dynamic of power. They get this power, you know, born to rule. That is their logo now. They've piled up, I don't be history teacher. But let's sit down before we start talking about something. Let's go to the root. Because if you don't go to the root, extract, I mean, really find out what happened from the beginning, you cannot know where you are going. Because for you to know your destination, you have to know the back where you are coming from. Let's deconstruct this. Look at the power was invested, was given to them. And since then, they have done everything humanly possible to consolidate, to sustain, to keep that power. Put money and power here. From our Southern people, what will they choose? They will choose money. And the Hausas, the Fulanis, they know this. So they have been using money to silence this northern, this eastern, this our people. They've been using money to buy them. Not the money you want. Take money and go. And now you want to start trying to negotiate power with them. Since 1960, since that time, now they break. Is it now it's dawning on us that, you know, something bad is happening? It's been there since. Even when Aguiyi Ironsi planned a coup to overtake Tafawa Balewa. What happened? Only 3 months. So he was there for only 3 months. The Hausas, they came to retaliate immediately. Because they have that sense of entitlement. It's one thing to have sense of entitlement. It's one thing to sustain, to consolidate it. And they consolidated it. They know what they want. You know what you want. You can't eat your cake and you have it. You can't have power and have money. You need one thing. But my dear Southerners, what would you people choose? You will choose money. So they don't use money buy your salads. So now you want to start the talk when you have already sold your birthright. If the northern people wake up today and they want to do anything, they will implement it for your face, kuru. You can't do anything. So all this outcry, all this thing, now just talk. I think it's that when it just happened, hey. But even between me and you, as we are talking now, some people are buying into it. The same Abia state that Aguiyi Ironsi came from. The same Abia state, the governor, what is he saying now? He don't change motto. He don't play, we call it politics of appeasement. He don't say yes, it will benefit. He said even sometimes ago, that is the same Abia state that Aguiyi Ironsi came from. In his grave now, he will be saying, wow, this is not the legacy I try to leave for my people. So people are buying into it already. I will wonder why Oshomole is always against Obaseki these days. I will wonder the secret agenda. There is more to that. I spoke a little bit about this in my past videos. Now I'm just saying a little bit about it because my eyes on the open small to some things. Probably he knows that Obaseki will not even, Governor Obaseki of Edo State will not even buy into this. And he knows the only way he can appease his godfather Buhari is to make sure he puts somebody there that will even give the whole Edo State land, even your bedroom, even the bedroom, to cowreras to settle. So that might be a kind of war that is happening between them that we don't even understand yet. So that is that we'll soon find out. So some states are buying into it already. Some states are already buying into it. So let's just don't sit down there and start crying and speaking BB grammar. Because the way I'm seeing these things is more than what it is now. Because when we are here crying everything, just during the past vote, the past presidential election, I learned that with 1,000 naira, somebody will come to a ballot and just change their mind. Now money, we eat today, tomorrow we forget. That is what is affecting us now. The Northerners, they don't see us finish. They don't know, say this one, now just say, ole barawo, give them money, it will change mouth. So they don't see us as anything again. If not, they cannot just wake up one day and somebody will be threatening that within 30 days, if this thing don't work, they know how to cut corners. They know how to get what they want. So I don't know why this outcry, why all this talk, it's not going to solve anything. Or you want to go war with the North, you won't even win at all. Because like I said, they have monopoly over instruments of violence. They have all these things. They have done everything to consolidate their power and to maintain it. And you want to wake up to this, something that could not happen how many years ago when the British were living. Is it now it's going to happen? Just in case you never hear what I talk very well. I say when the British people were living, they carry power, give to northern man. Because they themselves, they've already seen that the northerners are more than half of the country. That is the Hausa and the North combined. Okay, recently people were saying that the Osman Danfodio for the people, that is the Fulanis, are so domineering. Even the Hausa people, they've made the Hausa people their slave. Yes, they are satisfied. If there's to be war today, the Hausas, they will not betray the Fulanis, so they go combine like this because they see themselves as one. The kind of cooperation they have. Do we people in the south, southeast, southwest, and all that, do we have it? Just with a talking like this, we can betray our own blood brother or sister. Just with little money like this. Long throat. And so, what are you talking about? You can't eat your cake and have it. There's cooperation between them. They love each other. They know what they are out for. Power. And they are doing everything to keep that power. So you, my brother, my south people, south, southeast, southwest, or whatever we call ourselves, what are we in for? Money, stomach infrastructure. We want to build high rises. We want to build supermarket. We want to, all those people, they are cabals. Imagine the young senator now. Not to want to rule. Where the person for first come out. Now from Fulanis, they are preparing that guy. You go even surprise next presidential election, this small boy will come out and say he wants to be, and he will get the support, the backing of his people. Maybe South people now. You will see. Our own policy is, if I not eat, you no go eat. We are always fighting ourselves. Fighting even within our own family. We see just one person trying to stand up, to rise above the shackles of poverty. What do? We plan to kill the person. Not be with the talks though. So what would they complain for now? When the wood insect gathers sticks, on its own head carries them. Now waiting we plan, now with the rib so. So we've not been able to team up, to really have, okay, look at Oshomole and the National APC chairman, Adams Oshomole, Oshobaba, and the Obasekina. These are from Edo State. But because of long throat, one is like, okay, if you don't listen to me, you go lose power. So you lose. I'm sure at this point now, Oshomole will be that. He don't even can make deep PDP. He don't even care. He don't even give a damn any wood anymore for a PDP to be there. Because Obaseki, that is how we operate, even at the national, state, and even within the family. So I not go eat. You not go eat. That's what we do. But in North, they will back each other. Just Tafawa Balewa that was killed. And a few Northerners. It was bloody when they came in full force. Because that power, they see it as their own. They are everywhere. Military. That is, they are militarized. Military now be waiting they know it, because they know that is the weapon. We'll come to that again. We're still on the Ruga settlement thing. Buhari, we should all know it from the start that the name Buhari in itself rings a bell. When Obasanjo handed over to Shehu Shagari, we also saw that he set a date of the end of military rule. He did that. Who broke that covenant? Now Buhari. They set a date for the end of military. That's the thing. Buhari know the year one, not the year two. He not now person when we say no, they follow rule. Now waiting day in mind, then they do. We don't forget so quickly. We forget easily. Oh. After former President Obasanjo set a date to end military rule, Buhari came again with his coup d'etat. And guess the day he came? The day everybody was happy. It was on the December 31st, end of the year. He made sure say he end the year with bloody. Is that not a crafty person? He know the think as we they think. He has his own way of reasoning. He said that coup, thank God for Bangida, who came to overthrow him again. You see? He who killed by the sword will die by the sword, but luckily he wasn't killed. If to say Babangida was able to exterminate him that time, maybe all these things don't happen. Buhari, with no disrespect, I'm not wishing you dead, though, but I'm just trying to see, you know, what would have happened, what would have been the other option now, the situation of Nigeria. You know, it could have been better, it could have been worse. So anyways, that alone, the way Buhari came in, that annoyance alone that, you know, a Sultana has already said that, no, this is the end of military rule. That alone in itself, and one man stubbornly still come. Stubborn man like that. He came and said, it will not happen. He break the rules. On the December 31st, the last day of the year, when everybody even forgets, say, don't they even they count the new year, don't they ready to say Happy New Year? He just set in your coup. That one never ring a bell for us. So he do what he do, he go, he come back again. He came back. I would expect people would be like, not this man again. That annoyance for what he did on New Year Eve, he created sadness instead of joy. His coup interfere with the joy of everybody. That alone, and then coupled with the fact that, you know, he kind of broke the covenant. The already established, you know, the already established rule that military bygone to military for life. Those two alone, for those two reasons alone, when he came back, we're supposed to see him as a bad news. But what happened? We voted vehemently for him over the former president Goodluck Jonathan, a Southerner, and Buhari won. Everybody was happy. He won. Everybody was happy. Our own brand. Do you think, now tell me now, do you think an Hausa or a Fulani man will support for his own person to lose a seat for a Southerner? Do you think they will support that? No matter how bad, how corrupt, how evil that person is, do you think they will do that? But we did it. And we allowed Buhari to come in with the help of our great godfather, Uncle Bola Tinubu, Epele Daddy. And our dear pastor, man of God, VP Osibanjo. He came in there. But do you think the Northerners will do that? To allow their own person to go for a start to come in? The only time that one even happened was in the time of late Moshood Abiola. But even at that, their eye can't open again and say, what are we doing now? This will not happen under our eyes. Because they are quick to recognize loopholes. So we allowed him, he came. And then by the time of re-election again now, it was too late now for us to, now it was like being between the devil and the blue sea, the deep blue sea. Our dear Atiku and Buhari. But I would believe that people will still prefer, from what we have already seen, from the rat we already smell, from the fire we already feel coming, I would believe that many people will vote for Atiku then. Then the issue of voters card now came in. They changed everything. And we all know that, you know, Buhari didn't merit those, didn't get that much vote. He did what he had to do because in and by force, everything he knows to do is force, by force. And then here we go. In his inauguration, he was, he acted like deaf and dumb. He didn't say anything. Because what he want to do, he did in mind. This is just the tips of the iceberg. It's just the unleash and small. You don't change passport now. This time, this era, that people are embracing civilization, are embracing like new things. My uncle, where they put picture of cows, hencemen on it. Who does that? And then you see our people crying and shouting. My dear, it's too late to cry. It's just too late. Things have gone wrong in the past. Don't put the time that we had, the opportunity that we had, those days, because the power keep recycling between them, keep recycling them. Except when they're sorry for Sultana or Instana, they will just give them one kind position. But the main positions, they give it to their people. Yes, be your brother's keeper. And now we are crying. Let's not just cry at all. It's already too late. Okay? It's too late. Although he has suspended the implementation of this Ruga settlement, that doesn't mean that he will not do what he needs to do. He just pause. You know, now pause. Bendalo, bendalo, pause. How do they sing that song again?
Baby just bendalo.
Baby just bendalo, pause. Hey, bendalo. Now pause. It's just a pause. It's not like you don't forget to, because he's going to do it. It's not even about him now, it's people. They don't give out to him. He doesn't even have a voice. It's something he has to do. He's going to do it. And if he doesn't do it by hook, he will do it by crook. Okay? And even our leaders will even agree. When they don't go back doors now, give them money when they like to see. They will collect money from their back and say, you know what? And just brings one kind discourse, something new, and it's good to go. And then cows, their owners and the indigenous people will be living together. You know, they sleep with their wife. They sleep with the daughters. They snatch the women and they kill the men. That's what they know how to do best. People don't know what you are playing with. You better speak with the state governors. What is the state governors doing? What are you people doing, state governors? It's one time you have a united front. Meet together and resist this. Not even one person, not even one governor of a state should allow. Because if one of you allow it, then you will all have to allow it. Because that's a betrayal. As far as I see, the governor of Abia State is already a betrayer. He's betraying. Even when the chairman of the governors of Nigeria, this Adokiti state governor, have already said, no, this is not going to work, and has warned the other governor, the Abia state governor, is still stand up. They play politics for them. You're using the life of your people, of the indigenous of Abia state, to play politics. I mean, for once, let's speak out. You talk true, you go die. You don't talk true, you go die. Even my dear senator already, if they take the matter, take they laugh, take they play. Say he too, he need a Ruga settlement because he have ambition to become the governor of Kogi State. Come on, let's not use the life of people to play politics. Because at the end of the day, when these cattle areas and their people come and settle in your states, they're going to commit so much havoc. They're going to be sleeping with the women. They're going to be sleeping with the women. And then you go see a woman born picking, the picking go look like Hausa Fulani. And then you will be crying. So, guys, what is your take on this? Does this make sense to you? I'm sure I'm communicating with somebody. Please share this video to as many people as you can. So guys, keep sharing and sharing and sharing. Like I always say, out of every nonsense, there's always a sense to make. This video might touch one of them might stumble into this video and listen to it, and you know, some class of it might make sense to them. So share. Let our people know that they are toiling with not just this current generation, but even with the future generation. Okay, so whatever you do today have a long way to go to affecting the future generations. So what we are suffering today was not planted today, happened like way long time ago. As much as we are talking, we are speaking baby grammar, let's back it up with some action. You don't come to public and start speaking grammar and then you go to back doors, you start playing politics of appeasement. You start saying, we see, we talk. I mean, call a spade a spade. Let your yes be your yes and your no. Whatever you say in the open, be ready to say it, even in a secret place. Even when you guys are together, are talking, be willing to say no. I mean, is it hard to say no? No is N-O. Just say no. I mean, they taught us these things right from you do not say yes when you mean to say no. As adults, you teach your children how to say no. So you cannot say no. Please do what you say. Practice what you say as well. So guys, this is my take on it, okay? So I don't know how you feel about this video, but I just think, you know, I should at least, come out of the box. And for once, stop blaming Buhari. You stop blaming. Let's take responsibility for our actions, for what we have done in the past, for how we have betrayed our own self, how we have betrayed our own. With this in Jonathan we do. I'm neither for APC or NDP, PDP. I want a government that will benefit the people. I want a government, you know, that will give me that sense that, you know, I have a country, that government that can build the country to the standard where I can just wake up one day, buy my ticket, and be very free and be very safe to travel to. That is the kind of government. Whoever can do it, whether na APC, CPA, or PDP, DPD, it's none of my business. Any government that can provide me with that kind of security, that is the government I'm voting for. So I'm not for anybody. But even at that, as bad as it was, when our former governor, this Southeast governor, is it Goodluck Jonathan was there? I mean, it was not this bad. It was not this bad. Look at what we are experiencing today. I'm sure we'll be regretting now. Don't tell me you are not regretting. No. Don't tell me you. Even we are even saying this now. There are people who are still exchanging Ghana Moscow, still exchanging money, still exchanging at the detriment of its citizens. We are talking about the passport now. And look at yesterday. I was just, you know, online looking at this Babandede, this Minister for Immigration. Like, you know, opening the pages, say, look, there is Abia, there is Yoruba, he represents all the ethnic groups. He was open. What about the back? He didn't open the back. I mean, what are they thinking now? He didn't even open the real front page for us to see. He was opening inside. Must there be herdsmen in the front page? Or you can't find any, if you can't find any picture to put, come and put my beautiful face in front of the passport. You don't have to pay me. I will send you my headshot. Put it on the front page if you don't know what to put there. I mean, please, guys, Buhari, please, may you get strong, man. Even though they say you be Mr. Jubri, which I don't really believe you, but act like a Nigerian that you are. You are a Nigerian. This is your country as well. Even though you have made all the money and you feel, you know, your children, they will never see any sorrow, they will never see any suffer in the future. But what legacy are you living? Do you want to leave a legacy where they will call you? To fear? Is that kind of legacy you want? Please, I'm specifically appeasing to you, President Muhammadu Buhari. Please, when you are making all these implementations, also think that, I mean, people still have a say. We have a say, even though we have said about our birthright, we have acted like Ole Barawo, we love so much money, still feel pity for us, because I'm not to blame you. We have lawmakers there now. Even the only 2 senators, 3 senators I've heard spoke about it, they all supported it. Because everywhere they hold their head, you can never see one big man resign, apart from one lady, what's her name again, that resigned. Very few people can resign when they see things going wrong. Rather, they will do everything to protect their power. It's all about them. When things are not going on in government, in the Western world, you see them resigning, or when they are strongly opposed to some doctrines, to some programs, they resign. But our people will never resign. Rather, they will comply. They will comply. Because they don't want to lose their post. So they are forced to comply. Even though your cabinet, your people, they are not, your executives, they are not resigning. But it's bad. You can't just wake up and impose something on people. I mean, you are operating from the federal level. We have state governors who have powers, at least some level of authority over their states, over the state of affairs. Let them have a say. I mean, don't impose punishment. Don't say, okay, don't mark them to be on the blacklist because they disagree on something, you know? Me, I see the verse, okay? I see the verse. I have my own personal grudges. Like play. The Federal Capital Territory, they moved it from Lagos State. They took it to Abuja like play. They said because Abuja is no man's land. And they cited territorial or location, geographical reasons. I mean, the geographical location and everything for removing it from Lagos State. They play. They can't go Abuja. The Abuja, they are calling it no man's land. As many of you who think Abuja is no man's land, let it come to a case, maybe the state, the country wants to divide. Then you will know that Abuja, now the northern hemisphere, now for put. Now the night get on. Everything is just all about you people. And we're also Nigerians. We're also Nigerians, okay? So please, guys, I think I'm just going to, I mean, don't come after me. Nobody should come after me. Like I said, I'm not for APC. I'm not for PDP. It's just how I feel. as much as everybody is pouring, I mean, their angers, their transferring their aggression to Buhari, insulting Buhari. Buhari is not to be blamed for everything. Okay? It is what you said. You know what? If you don't, freedom is never willing given by the oppressors. It has to be demanded by the oppressed. What have we done so far to demand freedom other than speaking baby grammars? What have we done so far? I mean, what actions at least have we like put out there for the northerners to know that these people, they really mean what they are out for? I mean, what actions other than speaking grammars? Have we tried to, for once, refuse their offer? Because I know the offer you guys stuff behind doors, behind closed doors. Our own certain leaders that are very close to the realm of leadership, what are they doing there? Mr. Tinubu hasn't even come out to say anything. And dear Osinbajo, you haven't said anything. And the GO of the church that you belong to, you should, I don't even want to go there, to the GOs. I don't even want to go there as well. The Muslims, when they are speaking, although we know we have Shiites, we have Sunnis, we have fractions between them, but they have one law, which is the Sharia law. They follow it. Christians, what will they follow? We are so divided. What we are after is prosperity. What we are after is prosperity. Money, it's all about money. If we cannot do anything, if we cannot at least make some, real sacrifice, let's stop just talking. Because that talking and deception, the Northerners, they don't tire to the hear talk. Because it's all about talking. Behind closed doors, it's a different story. So they see on a finish. So I seriously pray for the country Nigeria that, everything should be okay. And the leaders, should for once at least sit down and think and reason. I know that, whether be the leaders, whether they be in power or anything, at the end of the day, we are one Nigeria. There are observers watching us. There are observers watching us. See, Donald Trump don't see everybody finish for that Nigeria. We all heard that he said, you know what, everybody stay your country. Nigeria should just stay, except you have very, good reasons. And what are those good reasons? Well, they are socially defined. He has to define what those good reasons are. It's not up to us now to come and say we have good reasons. Donald Trump is the one to define what is the meaning of good reasons and what good reasons are. No traveling, you are staying there, and before you know, UK will join. Other countries will join. As much as they have so much to benefit from whatever crisis that is happening in the country, but at least in the face of the world, they want to show that they are doing something. Everything that is happening in Nigeria today is what they have already established. They already knew that these things are going to be happening. But how did we try to make sure that, yes, we disappoint them? Because all this arbitrary divide that they did in the country, of course, why would there not be crisis? There will be. But we don't even use our number 6. We don't use our number 6. Anyway, guys, I think I will stop here today. Okay? And then we'll continue this. There's definitely going to be a part 2 of this. So until I come your way again, I remain your one and only Miss Continental. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.